Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of A Good Sports Show. I'm your host, Randy Goodman. Just want to say Happy New Year. I had planned on doing a episode earlier this month, and I ended up getting the wonderful stomach flu from our little one, and I was down and out for, I'd say, probably a good week and a half, trying to get my strength back, and it was just a mess. So now I'm back, and I've got a big episode here. We're going to be talking the Cowboys, the Mavs, North Texas basketball, SMU basketball, a little Rangers talk, and then also some wrestling talk as well. You can follow the show on Twitter at A Good Sports Show. The show is also on Instagram at that same handle, and also on Facebook. And then also you can subscribe to the show's YouTube channel. Just hit the subscribe button and you'll never miss a new episode. And then you can also find the show just searching for A Good Sports Show in the search box up in the top in YouTube. And then also have the link posted on the Instagram page for A Good Sports Show. All right, let's go ahead and dive into episode 9 this week. We're going to talk Dallas Cowboys here first. Cowboys were 8-8 in 2019, mediocre season. Jason Garrett is gone. We've got a new head coach, Mike McCarthy. Many of you remember he was the Green Bay Packers head coach for many years. Just a little bit of his resume. McCarthy was 125, 77, and 2 as head coach. He had 8 10-win seasons, 6 division titles, 9 playoff appearances. He had a 10-8 postseason record, and he also had 1 Super Bowl that they actually won here in Dallas, or actually in Arlington at AT&T Stadium. And to look just kind of like Jason Garrett, looking back on his resume, his time here in Dallas, he had only 3 10-win seasons, 3 division titles, 3 playoff appearances, and he had a 2-3 record in the postseason, and of course, no Super Bowls. My early take on McCarthy, I think this is a good hire for the Cowboys. I think he's going to come in and turn this team around. I could see this team easily with the talent on this team. This can easily be an 11-win team, at least 11 wins or 12, with McCarthy now as head coach. Then you've also got a new defensive coordinator, Mike Nolan. Many of you remember him from San Francisco 49ers. And he was a linebackers coach for the Saints recently. That's a good hire for the Cowboys, bringing Nolan in. And then just a couple of days ago, they brought in Jim Tomsula. He's the new defensive line coach. He's got a long resume of developing effective and productive defensive linemen. This will be huge for the Dallas D-line this coming season, the Hot Boys, getting them going. I think the Cowboys are just maybe a couple players on defense from really turning this around, and then also creating turnovers and interceptions and things of that nature, really stepping up the D. And then McCarthy, he didn't want to change offensive coordinator, and he didn't want to really take over the play calling duty. So Kellen Moore is going to be staying on and calling plays for the Cowboys. He likes the foundation and what Kellen Moore did this past season with the Cowboys and their offense. The Cowboys were number 1. They had the number 1 offense in the NFL last year. They averaged 431.5 yards per game. And they were 6th in scoring, averaging just a little over 27 points a game. Of course, this all doesn't really mean they could have number 1 offense, but it didn't really. They had an 8-8 record which goes back to their coaching and the reason Jason Garrett got fired. Well, he didn't. I don't want to say he got fired. It was basically just mutual, but parting of both ways, and now Jason Garrett's going to be the offensive coordinator for the New York Giants, which I find interesting. And the Giants are actually hiring a lot of the ex-Cowboy coaches to come coach up there. So we'll see how that all works out for them. But yeah, the Cowboys, they got a lot of questions coming up this offseason. Dak's contract still in the air. How much are you going to pay him? Are you going to put a franchise tag on him? Or are you going to pay him over $30 million a year? I know some people say no, just let him go, and we'll ride out maybe Phillip Rivers or even maybe Tom Brady for 1 year. I don't know. I've seen those kind of rumors going around on Twitter and such. But yeah, the Cowboys, they've got those questions. Byron Jones, he may not be coming back. Says the Eagles are interested in him. There's some play, and Amari Cooper. I just remember you have to sign him too. So a lot coming up for the Cowboys, and then they got the draft coming up as well, and we'll be talking more about the Cowboys free agency talk and things like that in the upcoming weeks. So now we're going to step into the basketball court and talk about the little Dallas Mavericks. The Mavs, they are doing really good this season. The Mavs are 5th in the Western Conference. Yes, I said 5th. Last year they were just terrible. Anyway, they're tied for 1st in the Southwest Division with the Houston Rockets. It's been a long time since the Mavs have contended to try to win a division title in the NBA. And the Mavs are 16-9 versus Western Conference teams. They rank 2nd in the Western Conference with 47.6 rebounds per game. And they're led by Luka. He is averaging 9.7 rebounds. This Mavs team is a really, really fun team to watch. I don't know if you've seen me other games. I try to catch every game and watch them. It's so entertaining. And watching Luka is just, that dude is amazing. He's, in my book, him and the Greek Freak are right up there, almost together in the MVP race. I just love what Doncic has done in his 2nd year with the Mavs. It's just amazing. And the trade last year to get him with the Hawks and Trae Young, that may go down as one of the greatest trades of all time. But yeah, so get back to the Mavs. Doncic, he leads the Mavs, averaging 29.1 points, 9.7 rebounds, and 9 assists per game. He's almost averaging a triple-double, folks, which is just amazing. Then you got Seth Curry. He's done really good coming back to the Mavs this season. Just in the last 10 games, he's averaging 1.6 assists and 13 points a game. They really need his contributions and points in these games and stuff. The last 10 games for the Mavs, they've got a 6-4 record. They're shooting 48%, and they're averaging 116.8 points a game, 46 rebounds, 23 assists, 5.4 steals, and 5 blocks per game average. The Mavs, they've lost a couple of games in these last 10 on last minute possessions and just breaking down the fourth quarter, which is frustrating for Mavs fans. And I don't know, it's frustrating to see them do so good in 3.5 quarters and then end up just throwing a ball out of bounds or stepping out of bounds to turn the ball over, just kind of knucklehead things to kind of put teams away. But they'll get on the right track. And then this past Tuesday, they lost Dwight Powell for the season. There was a nasty non-contact right Achilles injury. And Powell's been a beast for them and a key contributor, and they're going to miss his production and stuff. in these games. And I know the Mavs, they're gonna. I was just looking the other day. They're gonna have to make a trade to get some low post help and some more scoring and maybe a 3-and-D type player to come here and help this team. And the upcoming schedule for the Mavs, they've got Portland on the road. Then they play at the Jazz on Saturday night. And then they play at Oklahoma City on Monday. Those will be three tough games. Oklahoma City's kind of turning things around. So these 3 games will be fun to watch. One in Portland will be fun to watch because you've got Lillard and Luka going up against each other. And when they go up against each other, it's really entertaining to watch. So tune in to watch the Mavs these next 3 games and the rest of the season. And then, of course, we'll be talking Mavs with the upcoming trade deadline on, I believe it's February 6th. And then also, too, the NBA All-Star Weekend's coming up here in a couple of weeks. So we'll have All-Star coverage and things of that nature. So we're going to stick with basketball. And we're going to move on up to Denton and talk about the North Texas Mean Green. The Mean Green are 12-8. They have a 6-1 conference record in Conference USA, which tied for first. The Mean Green have scored 72.6 points per game in their 7 conference games. And then they take a little dip down in their average. They average around 64.8 points per game in non-conference play. They got to step that up. And then they've got a Javion Hamlet. He's made or assisted on 45% of all UNT field goals in the last 3 games. And then this is an interesting stat. The senior guard has accounted for 14 field goals and 19 assists in those 3 games. So Hamlet's really stepped up his game this last week. And then, of course, the Mean Green, they host the Roadrunners tonight at the Super Pit in Denton. And then coming up, they have a game against UTEP in the Super Pit on Saturday night. And then they don't play till the following next Saturday, February 1st. They play at Rice. So tune in to North Texas Basketball. They're a fun team to watch. And then heading a little bit south, near downtown Dallas, talk about SMU Basketball. The Mustangs have got a 14-4 record. They're 4-2 in American Athletic Conference, which is 4th in the standings. Last night they picked up their 6th straight win over East Carolina. They won 84-64. SMU shot 54.7% as a team, and they also shot 48% from the 3-point line. I mean, they were just knocking them down and putting away East Carolina early in this game. And then a little nugget on the Mustangs. They're ranked 2nd among AAC teams with an average of 76.2 points per game. And the Mustangs have 2 interesting matchups coming up. They play at Memphis on Saturday. And Memphis is currently ranked 20th. They'll be out of the top 25 after this week. They got thumped by Tulsa last night. And then they play at Cincinnati on Tuesday night. So SMU Basketball, they're doing good this season. They're also another fun team to watch. But yeah, go Mustangs. All right, now we're going to have a little Diamond talk. I know a lot of you like, where's the Rangers talk? When's he going to talk about baseball? Well, here's some of your baseball talk right here. The Rangers, they've been a little busy here in the winter months. They signed catcher Robinson Chirinos, and they signed third baseman Todd Frazier last week. Chirinos, they signed him to a 1-year, $6.75 million deal. He played 6 years here for the Rangers. Last year, he hit .238 with 17 home runs, 22 doubles, and 58 RBIs. and a career high 366 plate appearances for the Astros. I believe this is an upgrade to the Rangers' offense. And the Rangers, their catchers really struggled to consistently hit at the plate last season. And then Mathis, I could see them buying him out and just go ahead and paying him the $3 million deal. And then go ahead and putting Chirinos in the starting lineup to roll out when they open up Globe Life Field. Then the Rangers signed Todd Frazier. Like I said, he's 34 years old, getting towards the back end of his career here. They signed him to a 1-year, $5 million guarantee with a club option for a second year. Frazier hit 21 home runs and 67 RBIs last year and had a .251 average. A little nugget about Todd Frazier. His nickname's the Todd Father. So take what you want to with that. He's an league average hitter and provides passable defense at third base. So we'll just kind of see how that goes and see if the Rangers maybe make another trade for a third baseman here in the next couple of weeks before they head off to training camp. And I've got just kind of penciled in the projected Rangers starters right now. I've got Chirinos, catcher. First base, I've got Guzman. Second base, Odor. Shortstop, I've got Andrus. Third base, I've got Frazier. Left field, I've got Willie Calhoun. Center field, I've got Danny Santana. Right field, Joey Gallo. And the designated hitter, I've got Choo Choo. So we'll kind of see how that goes and plays out over the next couple of months. Yeah, that's kind of a Ranger talk for this week. If you have any Ranger comments or questions, leave them on the Facebook page or send me a message on Instagram or Twitter, and we can discuss baseball. And now we're going to move on. I'm going to step inside the squared circle, and we're going to talk about the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble's this Sunday at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. We've got a men's Royal Rumble match. We've got a women's Royal Rumble match. The Universal Championship's on the line. The Raw Women's title's on the line. SmackDown's women's title's on the line. U.S. Championship. The Falls Count Anywhere match. And an Intercontinental Championship match. The men's Royal Rumble match, that's always a crapshoot on who's going to win it. You got 30 guys in there. You got Brock Lesnar. For the first time ever, the WWE champion's going to be in this match, starting this match. So we'll kind of see how that goes. I think it's kind of a stupid storyline. Lesnar's not going to win this Royal Rumble. My opinion, you always and also too, you always have at least 5 to 10 surprises in these Royal Rumble matches in history, and one of them I think is going to be CM Punk. I think he's going to be in this match. Another one I think is going to be a surprise is John Cena. Maybe Hulk Hogan. There could be a couple other guys that were like, wow, I can't believe this guy's... I haven't seen him in years. That's usually the response you get in these Royal Rumble type matches where these guys come back for a one-off. They're not going to win, but they just come off, and get a pop, and then they're gone. But this year I'm picking Roman Reigns to win the Royal Rumble. My gut feeling is it's going to be him versus the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, at WrestleMania for the SmackDown Championship. We'll kind of see how that goes. Well, I should call it the Universal Championship. Excuse me. I just think Reigns is gonna win this match, and him and Wyatt are gonna have a long-going feud on SmackDown leading up to the match. The Women's Royal Rumble. I'm going with Shayna Baszler. I think she has a really good chance of winning this, and I know that uh, the fans are behind her, and she's gonna be the next big great thing in the WWE. So we'll kind of see how that goes. But yeah, I'm going with Baszler as the winner for the Royal Rumble women's side. And then you've got the WWE Universal Championship. Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan. I'm going with The Fiend to win this match. I can't see him losing the title before WrestleMania. Yeah, so I'm going with The Fiend to win this one. The Raw Women's title, Becky Lynch versus Asuka. Becky Lynch has never beat Asuka. I just think they're going to set up Lynch to have a big opponent at WrestleMania. So I'm going to go with Lynch in this match. The SmackDown's Women's Championship, Bayley versus Lacey Evans. These two have had a pretty good feud going on SmackDown. And I'm going to go ahead and say there's going to be a title change and take Lacey Evans in this one. The U.S. Championship, you got Andrade versus Humberto Carrillo. Humberto Carrillo showed up after Andrade beat Rey Mysterio on Monday Night Raw in that ladder match for the championship. I'm going to go with Andrade here. I believe he's going to win this one. Falls Count Anywhere match. I am so tired of Roman Reigns versus King Corbin. It's almost to a point on SmackDown where I fast forward to get through it. They have just been, maybe a couple of months now, this feud's been going on. And we're ready for the payoff and get Roman Reigns to just put an end to King Corbin and finish this feud with him so he can move on to the championship. But I'm going with Reigns to win that match. And then the final match, well, I don't want to say it's final, it might be one of the early matches on the card. Shinsuke Nakamura, he's a champion, Intercontinental Champion. He's going to be taking on Braun Strowman. I don't think Strowman's going to win the Intercontinental Championship on Sunday. I'm taking Nakamura with some outside interference from Cesaro and or Sami Zayn to help him out to win. Yeah, the Royal Rumble, it should be a fun night. I usually like this because it signals the road to WrestleMania. I know a lot of people are tired of Brock Lesnar as the WWE champion and it's stale, and I would have to agree most of the product is stale. It's just boring and kind of predictable. And but yeah, I say all that, but I'm still going to tune in on Sunday to see who wins the Royal Rumble and who's going on to WrestleMania to fight for the championships. And then I want to talk just briefly about AEW on TNT. I haven't talked about this on any of the previous shows, I don't believe. And I went to one of their shows here in Garland, Texas last month. And I want to say their product is awesome. I have high regard for Cody Rhodes and Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and what they try to do and start this wrestling company and now it's on TNT, and it's been on TNT for a couple months now, and they got Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone calling these matches, and it's a great product. Some of these guys you won't know because they've been on the independent scene and maybe the Ring of Honor or some other organizations, maybe NWA or something like that, and you haven't seen because they haven't been WWE or whatever, or Impact Wrestling. But I highly recommend tuning in and watching these episodes of these AEW Dynamite. It's on TNT on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. Like I said, they have done a fantastic job. When I went to the event, The crowd was hot. They were totally involved in it. It was a great atmosphere. The merchandise lines, they were long. They were selling out of all their merch. I mean, it was just amazing. But yeah, and then just recently on Wednesday night, they had Chris Jericho's Rock and Raging cruise, and they had the whole show on a cruise ship. It was so freaking awesome. I highly suggest tune in and watch it. I think you can watch on YouTube or also on demand on TNT. But yeah, it was so great. I mean, something I've never seen before. And there was some great matches. There was a title change, and then you had John Moxley, which was Dean Ambrose in WWE. He took on Pac. And then there was some couple other matches too, but it was so great. Highly recommend tune in and watching them. All right, so I think that's going to wrap it up for this week's show. Thank you for tuning in and listening. I really appreciate your support. And you can tune into the show on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We can continue the conversation. And I'll be back next week with a new episode. So everybody have a great rest of the week, great weekend, and we will talk to you next week. See ya.